What is up, everyone, and welcome to episode 52 of Pull Up with Miles and Owen. And today we welcome yet another illustrious guest to the program. She is a two-time All SEC first team member, the third overall pick in the 2022 WNBA draft. She was selected to the All Rookie team. She's a center for the Washington Mystics, but don't let that fool you because she's happy to switch on to any guard in the WNBA.
Oh,
And now she is a member of the Lunar Owls basketball club for Unrivaled down in Miami. Shakira Austin, welcome to the program. How's it going?
good. Excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. We're so excited to talk to you. We got to start down in Miami because from afar, the vibes just seem through the roof phenomenal.
Yeah, for sure.
The social content, like just everything has been so fantastic. So my first question is simply, how much fun are you guys having down there?
Oh man, we're having a blast. Like Unrival's doing a great job of allowing really everybody to capture how much fun we're having. You get the behind the scenes, you get the little sneak peeks, but it's really the vibe we have, in the locker rooms and the training room. It's been fun.
So speaking to that, being able to capture a lot of this behind the scenes
Yeah.
stuff. Number one, have you gotten to taste Marina Mabry's cooking yet?
No, I like to eat my own food that I make. I've seen some of her stuff. It looks all right. So maybe in the future, but I'll look towards maybe helping her a little bit with a couple adjustments, maybe. So I like to think of myself as a chef. So
And then secondly, what are they doing to kind of encourage the fun, social media aspect of this? Because obviously the basketball is so great, and we're going to get into that. But it just does seem like everyone's so comfortable, people are hanging out, and there is all of this kind of, behind the scenes access that we as
yeah.
fans are getting.
I mean, honestly, it's just been like the perfect setup. For the most part, you really don't get to stay in touch with a lot of WNBA girls once we're in the off season. So I think being able to capture everyone's attention from the moment this league was really started and created, and they're consistent with the content. They're pumping stuff up every day, and some people might be annoyed with it, like a couple of the old heads, but we all understand what's really happening. This is a great time, and we would just want to be able to allow this moment to be captured. So it's been super dope.
There aren't a lot of opportunities for women's basketball fans to just see so many of their favorites interact with one another, like
Yeah.
what we've seen captured. And like I've made the comparison, it feels like an Avengers movie where like
Yeah.
everybody comes together after they're all doing their own thing.
Yep.
And like the other day, Courtney Williams said that she was fangirling over being in a sauna with Chelsea Gray at one point
Yeah.
because he never got to really hang like that.
Yep.
Is there someone there in Miami that you've always kind of admired either their game or them as a person from afar that you've been able to build out a friendship with now that you're both in the same place for so long?
Um, Honestly, it wasn't until this past season when I was able to watch a lot of the Minnesota finals games where I was like, yo, she's a monster. She's silent. Everybody says she's a silent killer, and she definitely has that energy. But just being able to be on the same team with her and just watch how she works, her mindset, how she talks in practice. It's definitely been a nice little cookie. It's been nice.
I love when this happens where literally the next question up on our Google Doc was about playing with Fee. So you just
Yeah,
led us right into that
you're
perfectly.
welcome.
Uh, yeah, thank you. A true pro. I mean, it's such a unique opportunity to get
Yeah,
to watch someone like that up close in the WNBA finals, and then all of a sudden you get to share the court with her. You
yeah.
sort of just already answered it, but what are some of the things you're learning from how she approaches the game
Mhm.
and her work? Because from the outside and from the media perspective, what impresses me the most is just that it seems like she's so consistent. She's just
Yeah.
so even and level every day.
I mean, that's exactly what I was gonna say. Like she's very steady. She's dependable. That's some of the things that I want to grow into, be for my team. With the W is just being dependable, being a constant, force. And, I think for me it's something I'm trying to learn is to not get too high and not get too low. And you could just see how she carries herself as a vet. Just like I said, steady. Just a steady horse. The grind doesn't stop with her. She continues no matter if we're 2-0 or if we're 0-2. I think she will have the same mentality. And like I said, just being able to watch that, as a young player trying to grow up into that type of player, that type of caliber. So it's been a nice journey to also play with her, but just see that from a different perspective.
Her versatility is really also just such a unique part. And I feel like
Yeah.
you're an athlete that can learn from some of the stuff that she's doing.
Hmm.
Because when the rosters and the court dimensions were first announced, my first thought was about the bigs and what the potential challenges could be with this format. And like Owen said at the top, we're not going to pigeonhole you into just
Yeah.
playing a five, and that you do switch. But the pace is so fast and
Yeah.
everyone's just constantly on an island. So
Mhm.
how, if at all, did you kind of change your approach or attack those differences in the 3x3 play on either end of the floor versus a normal 5x5 like you might normally play in the W?
Yeah, I mean, overall, I'm still trying to adjust, just being completely honest. From the just one defensive aspect, when you don't automatically switch, it kind of leaves the big in a gray area. You don't have a normal tag backside help that would help you if the roller gets behind you. Like right now, we have to try to stop the mid range and stop the guards from getting downhill, but also you can't let a 6'4" or 6'5" get behind you. That's an easy layup. So little things like that, but like offensively, there is no help on the same side on the same sentence. So, being able to use your skills and finish around the rim, it's really all together different style from 5-on-5, but the principles are kind of still the same. Um, I think in the end, it's a little bit easier in the sense of like you're either gonna go straight and attack 1-on-1, or there's gonna be two people on you and you have to kick it. Like that's kind of the only adjustment. But honestly, it's a super fast game. It's definitely a guard heavy game. Guards are getting their shots up. So, we trying to represent for the bigs. We still gotta hold it down, but overall it's been fun. And I think this is a nice creation that they've kind of made for this 3-on-3 game.
And you can showcase what you can do with your footwork or off the
Yeah.
dribble in a way that it sometimes gets too crowded.
Yeah,
How much
exactly.
how much are you fighting muscle memory? Like when a pick and roll is going down,
Oh yeah.
how much are you like, oh no, I'm going out to hedge. Wait, I should not be doing that right now.
Yes.
And you have to like unlearn some of that specific skill that now you've
Yes.
like had hammered in 1,000 times over.
Oh yeah. Like I said, to come in here and think I was gonna, be a professional with and be a perfectionist with this 3-on-3 game was a little bit of an understatement. But yeah, it's been an adjustment because like I'll catch myself like if I see Courtney getting posted up by Chelsea Gray, my natural instinct is, okay, let me go help her just a little bit. But that one little step, now you got Chelsea Gray throwing it over behind the back pass to Azare. So, it's just little things like that where it's like, okay, I gotta trust my teammates. I'm the type of person who I'm gonna overhelp. I got your back. I'm gonna meet them at the rim. I'm looking to block it. So little things like that is I've definitely have to take it out of my toolbox right now and realize that if I go help, nobody has my back. So little things like that. I'm trying to learn, but honestly, just playing every game and even every quarter, you start to pick up on things a little bit faster. And, our coach does a great job of breaking things down. And like I said, I have great vets on my team. So they overall have been helping me. And, we all just help each other because this is a new game, a new system. And, we're just trying to figure it out and compete to be the best. So,
I love the way you put it, where you said like it's different style, but it's the same principles.
yeah. Yeah.
How has the process been from like a collaborative standpoint of sharing information of someone realizing like, oh, you know what? I just realized this about the 3-on-3 game. Like,
Yeah.
what's that been like? Just kind of learning on the go with this new format.
Yeah, I mean, I can appreciate my team so much because we are truly a collaborative team where The players can speak up, the coaches can speak up. There is no like hierarchy where only one person should be able to say something. And what I appreciate most is we were able to have kind of those difficult conversations early on, like preseason. And this is when we're still winning. Like we are getting the job done, but we're still in the locker room like, damn, I ain't like that shit. Like we could have did this. Like we should have done this. We should have been more aggressive. And it was really those early conversations that like I felt like I understood that we're a little bit different from everybody else. Like we have some great vets that know what they're talking about. We have everybody on the team has great IQ. And then we have a coach who's also, bringing what he can to the table. And we're all just making each other better like every single day. So I think this is really what this league is about is just sharpening your skills, toning in the things that you want to fix and then competing to finish it out for the chip.
That's so cool. So
Yeah.
from a more overarching perspective, we've heard Stewie and Fee talk a lot about what unrivaled means for
Yeah.
women's basketball, both now and in the future. And I just love to hear what you have to say in that regard about how important what's going on in Miami right now is for the future of women's sports.
Oh yeah, it's changing, the course of women's sports in general. I think this was a great opportunity specifically for women's basketball. We are one of the sports that probably plays year round. I don't really know a lot of other teams that do that. Um, so just to start really giving these opportunities for us to stay home, make money, sharpen our skills, get ready for the next season, and not feel so focused on, oh, we got to play again next, for the full 365 days of the year. It's really stressful. And coming from somebody who's had injuries more than likely due to playing year round, I think this is just a great space and really just a great step in the next direction. I don't think it's really here to tear down anybody else. We're not tearing down the WNBA. It's really just about continuing to take the next steps to allowing players to get what they deserve and allowing them to really become the best true self.
We've seen a lot of footage of the facilities and the amenities, and I think that that's something that on this pod we've talked to a whole bunch of players. I remember one of our first ever episodes with Lexi Brown. She said at the time Athletes Unlimited was pretty young, and she was like, "I needed somewhere that I could stay stateside and go hoop
Yeah.
because I don't want to go to the local Y or something like that and just
Yeah.
have a bunch of dudes trying to prove something."
Bunch of football players who gonna
Yep.
mess around and get you hurt. Yeah.
And we're seeing that obviously with Unrivaled kind of like
Yeah.
turned all the way up.
Yeah.
But you talk about having gone overseas, but then there's also the idea of you stay in one location too. You can kind
Yeah.
of you can maximize recovery, you can
Yeah.
really get into a routine. How do you think that's going to
Yeah.
enable you to maybe even push yourself further physically, knowing that you've got that extra bonus recovery time?
Oh yeah, I mean, like I said, they're really setting the tone. It's funny, I was kind of just talking to my dad about this at the beginning of last season of how, the NBA players, they're able to really collab and work out in their off seasons. Like you can go YouTube and see them, learning from the vets, learning from the older guys, and really just playing good hoops, having good pickup sessions. So to have a league come together. I mean, I just think it was really just the best opportunity. Like everyone wants to be able to tone up their skills. They want to compete with the best. Like I don't want to go to the YMCA. I know I'm going to give them 40, 50. Like doesn't really make me better.
Yeah.
So being able to be here and showcase what you can do at the best level, like this is literally the best players that anybody could go up against. So I think like I said, it's a great start for our first year having this opportunity in our off season, and I think maybe there'll be more to come. I don't know if there are going to be more leagues, but I think maybe it could be a stateside thing where you can have multiple, cities having really like stations like this where you just have a group of really talented players competing. So,
I love that. And yeah, I'm
yeah.
rooting for that future. I feel like we're trending in the
Oh
right
yeah.
direction.
Oh, I
For
think
sure.
so. Yeah.
We need those
Cali
like
would be nice. Little Cali weather.
Yep.
we need the like the whatever that like lifetime gym is where
Yeah,
you see like Carmelo like in the off season. Yeah,
exactly.
we need that. We need more of
Yep.
that for
Yep.
women.
The Chris
Exactly.
Brinkley gym, I can just see if I close my eyes now because we've seen so many players just like highlights coming out of there.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
We wanted to move you back to college for a minute and actually, steal a question from friend of the pod, Haley Jones, who
Yeah.
on her pod, Sometimes I Hoop, always asked a question that I love, which is each guest, she'll ask what the best conference in college basketball is, even though her Pac-12, rest in peace, and why,
Right.
and why that is true for them. So, in your opinion, what makes the SEC the standard for women's college basketball?
Ah, man, we just got a bunch of dogs. Like you could go to your other conferences and you can pick a couple good ones out of them, but for me, when I was playing the SEC, every single team could beat you at any night. Like it's not just the South Carolinas at that point it really wasn't the LSU. I went to Ole Miss. They had zero conference wins before I got there, and then we're competing with some of the best teams in the SEC, and um, it was just super fun. Like I said, we had a lot of powerhouse talent that would come in, and honestly, it was players that you might not have seen them in the WNBA, but they were pros. Like the way that they were playing. And in the end, SEC we got big girls. We got, a lot of muscle. We country fed. So, I think we're just built a little bit different, and that's coming from someone who's played in the Big Ten. Slow, nothing against none of the northern girls, but it's just a little bit different down here in the SEC.
It's so fun watching on a nightly basis. Like you said, like anyone can get upset on
Yeah.
any given night.
Yeah.
What was it about the coaching too? Because I just feel like in general, especially over the last like 10 years, it
Yeah.
just feels like the SEC has pushed the standard higher and higher
Yeah.
and higher, just all encapsulating everything about women's basketball. So what is
Yeah.
it about the coaching and just the standard that's set that really seems like it's pushing things forward?
I mean, when you talk about standard in the SEC, you got to mention Dawn Staley. I think she sets the tone for the SEC. Everybody else just trying to match it at this point. So I think, the organizations and the schools have done a great job of recognizing, okay, like we have a little bit more to get to. And they're bringing in the coaches that can help take them to the right direction. So, and bring in the right talent. So I think, like I said, Don Silly really just set the tone with, what a coach should want to be. And it just followed after that. So.
I think my favorite part about what Dawn has built is that it's like it's always about more than the basketball. It feels like it's just
Yes.
like caring for players as
Yeah.
people and not really cutting off ties when people graduate and go on to the next thing.
Yeah.
Like it's just that sort of thing. And you see that all across the SEC, which I think is really cool.
Yeah.
Kind of staying in the region, this is another one of my favorite questions to ask when the opportunity arises. Very simple. What is it about DMV Hoopers that's different?
Ah, we built different. I'm telling you, like, it's just the energy that you could expect when you go to play pickup with a bunch of DMV hoopers is unmatched. I mean, the trash talking you need to be prepared for, the aggressiveness that you got to be prepared for, and then just the skills. Like, I mean, you look at Kevin Durant, like he's my idol, he's somebody I really look up to skills wise, and he just, I can't say he truly represents DMV because he's such a quiet hooper. Like he will give you 45 on 50% field goal and like not even say a word. So, but the skill wise and the way he competes, like that's literally us. So I don't think there's nobody better than DMV Hooper.
Oh,
Offer.
Owen had asked this question to Angel McCautry, who gave us a
Yeah.
very similar answer to you and talked about how when she was young going to the park, gender didn't matter. It
Oh
was you were
no.
there and you were gonna hoop. And I feel like that's that energy that we have up in here in New York a little bit too,
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
where people are just like, all right, you're here, just show us what you're made of. And it's
Hmm.
it's awesome to kind of hear because you're a different generation than
Yeah.
Angel was when she
Right.
coming on up. So it's
Yep.
great to hear that that is kind of a through line through the DMV hoops.
Oh yeah. I would say New York is probably number two. I
Okay,
say
we'll take it.
y'all on the
We'll
top
take
of
it.
the list. Yeah.
I also love that about KD because maybe the biggest flex is the fact that he
Yes.
never talks shit. It's just like it's all the game.
And I want to get like part of me wants that to be my game. Like just be quiet and just get in hoops, but I just can't. Like I just cannot stay quiet and save my life.
I
But
relate
it's
to
super
that.
dope. Fee got it though. Fee got that.
Yeah,
Yep.
true, true.
Yeah.
So I wanted to switch a little bit to kind of a fun off the court topic, which was
Yeah.
a couple of years ago when the Mystics came to New York. I talked to you in the pregame about making your own clothes and just the role that fashion has played in your life. And I
Yeah.
just love that conversation. I thought it was so cool.
Oh
So
yeah.
this is a two-parter. Firstly, could you just take us through how that became a passion for you? And
Yeah.
then secondly, like what actually is the process of making your own pieces?
Yeah. So for me, it was, I'm 6'5". I'm really into beauty and fashion, and it's super hard for me to find long pants or, a nice jean jacket that fits. But it's also like not going with just basic designs. It's really hard to find like unique pieces unless you pay thousands of dollars for like the way the NBA players do, to get that length. So for me, it was, one, I was bored, but two, I just really wanted to create pieces for myself. And it really just starts with me going into finding the material that I like. I'll literally go spend like $300-400, and some of the material might not ever be touched. Like I'll just have these thoughts and ideas, and I'll draw them, and sometimes they're never even touched, but it's just the thought of, going in and being creative and thinking of like, okay, I could see this piece, or I can make this into a two-piece, I can make this into a purse. There's so much you could do, and I'm still learning, and as I think more about creating my own fashion company, like I think I'm leaning a little bit more towards like getting manufactured, because it's a lot of work to make a piece, and it takes a lot of focus, and if you want things like super specific and super detailed, you might have to make it a couple times. So I'm leaning more towards finding a manufacturer that can help me out, but still having it be my pieces, the creativity that I'm thinking about. So yeah, it's coming. I've been focusing on my health right now, so that's number one. But I'm hoping it's gonna come out real soon.
That's so cool. And
Yeah,
I remember watching an interview with you where you said that post-career that your
yeah,
goal is to be an entrepreneur and
yeah,
in the fashion industry. Have you given much thought to if that would be something that kind of evolves as you continue to play? Because it feels like
yeah.
more and more players are kind of putting their own fashion stamp on the W. So it
Oh
could even
yeah.
be within women's basketball.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I've never wanted to dip into my next career after I'm done with basketball. Like, I wanted to be, obviously, basketball is number one priority, but I don't want to wait till I'm retired to start thinking and getting these
Mhm.
things going. I think what you see in the WNBA is a lot of entrepreneurs. They're using their momentum. They're using the money that they've gone overseas to make, and they're investing that, and they're creating their own businesses. So I love to see like things like Alicia Gray. I didn't even know she had her own business. She had her own restaurant.
Yeah.
I'm like, they need to start promoting this stuff more. Like, I haven't even heard about half the people that walk around. They have their own entrepreneurship. So I think it's super dope. I think the W is a very special environment. We create our own opportunities. We create kind of our own pathway. So I think that it's definitely something that I want to collab with sooner rather than later. So
Yeah, our friend Christina Williams recently had Aaliyah Boston on her podcast,
yeah,
and Aaliyah was talking about her broadcasting and how she'd gotten into that so
yeah.
quickly into her
Hmm.
pro career. And she'd said her own plan was to wait as that
Yeah,
for that to be like a post-career
exactly.
switch. And then she spoke to her agents, like, no, we'll get you going right now.
Yep.
You are what people are going to tune in to watch,
Right.
and you can hone that skill now. So it's so awesome to
Yeah.
hear
And they
that you
want to
can
push it.
see that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like the W, they'll reach out. I have people working in the offices that'll, they tried to get me into the broadcasting and I was like, I don't know, sometimes I don't have a filter and I don't know if I'm ready to be on air live, but at the end of the day, like these are spaces that we can fill, people want to listen to Leah Boston talk about, what she sees on the floor. So I think it's like I said, the W is a special place for us. It's a great opportunity for us to really, take advantage of the opportunities.
One of our favorite Yankees here, CC Sabathia, was just made into the Hall of Fame. But I remember a few years ago, he said he wanted to do broadcasting, but he's like, I gotta wait until like HBO gets rights to these games
Yeah.
because I'm gonna be cursing left and
Oh
right.
yeah.
You're not gonna hold that
So
energy back
HBO
from
is the
me.
one that you can cuss on.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay, so I need to give them a call because
And pull up with
do
Miles
it.
and Owen.
Yeah, you
Also
can curse here
cussing
as much
loud
as
on
you want.
the show.
Yeah.
Who are some of your because there's so much style in the WNBA, and I
Yeah,
think that's so much of what we love about it is how many different unique styles there are because there's just so many different presentations that people are showcasing
exactly.
their culture or
Yep.
whatever it is, what's important to them. Who are some of your favorite dressers in the WNBA?
Ooh, see, I'm such a versatile girly. I love Tip from Vegas. She is like, she sets the tone, and me and her have been talking, about collaborating. So, like I said, it's been great just walking around and having these conversations. But yeah, Tip, I would say Enrique, like, I'm so jealous that I can't, like I said, go to the store and find some of the pants that she has because they're just such statement pieces and the way she puts them together, 10 out of 10. Um, yeah, I would say those two. I like that they bring their own style, and I don't think they have I might be wrong, but I don't think they have stylists, but that type of design is definitely fire to me.
I'm glad you said Tip because that she doesn't usually get brought up in these conversations, but
Which
she's
is
good. It's
crazy.
crazy.
What she be putting that shit on, bro. Like, oh, I'd be so jealous. And she just looks so cool. Like if you was to see her walking, you would think she's like a fashion model, seriously.
Yeah.
What a,
But
what a legend.
yeah.
So as we reach the end of the episode here, a question I always like to ask, I always like to go to music, just for like a fun outro. And
Yeah.
when we had Izzy and Dory Harrison on the podcast, Dory asked Izzy within the context of the podcast a perfect question, which I have now stolen many times. Just if you were to put your music on shuffle, who are the three or four artists that are most likely to come up, or who's just in the rotation recently?
Okay, in my rotation, it's so funny because every time they add, like anytime anybody asks about music, I be lying. Like I sometimes be, I'm like, oh yeah, I listen to Meek Mill and Lil Baby. No, I'll be capping. I'm an old head, so you're gonna hear probably like Erica Badu. You're gonna hear like, Janae Aiko. Um, and it's so hard to choose. And I'm not gonna lie, I listen to gospel every couple days to try to refresh my spirit. So you're
Yeah,
gonna hear some Marvin Sapp.
love that.
Yeah.
I was going to say when you're that's you saying that makes you feel like an old head makes me feel super old because a lot of that is not very old in my
Yeah.
in my life. But I appreciated those answers. I'm like, cool, someone's coming to our level for once.
Yes.
People I've
I
heard
could
of.
I
This is
could have
great.
went deeper. I tried to honestly keep it a little bit current. But yeah, I'm an old soul. I'm definitely an old soul.
I love that. I love that. And the last one, as we take you out here, is
Yeah.
we had to circle back to Unrivaled and the way that these games finish with that first to 11, the
Yeah.
Elam ending, with Skylar calling game on opening night. You
Yeah.
got to see it as the format was made for.
Yeah.
This is the perfect way to end the pod because it just condenses and it brings all the action to the forefront.
Yep.
How do you enjoy that as a hooper, knowing that you're not playing a foul game, that people aren't trying to play
Yes.
keep away, but that it's all about getting a stop and getting a bucket.
Man, it's so fun. It's so fun knowing that you have to have a game winner every single night. Like, you're not going to find that anywhere else. So, I'm appreciative whether I'm on the floor, whether I'm watching from the bench. Like, it's fun basketball. It's people going out there showing their energy, Skylar doing what she does. So, it's amazing to be a part of and to see for sure.
I was
Amazing.
like, when that happened, it dawned on me. And going back to the DMV thing and the pickup, I was like,
Yeah.
this is the purest form of hoops
Yeah.
when the defense has to be like, no threes or it's
Yeah.
over.
Yes,
Like,
like to be so disrespectful to go under a screen. Yeah,
right?
Skylar was popping her shit respectfully. Like you're gonna go under a screen on me. That's so disrespectful. And
Hey,
it's a little moment like that, and you lost the game.
Ball game.
Yeah,
amazing. Shakira, thank you so much for pulling up with us. This is such
of
fun
course.
conversation. And we just look forward to watching you hoop consistently down at Unrivaled for the next month and then going into the W 2025 season. Thanks so
I
much.
appreciate y'all. This was fun. Thank you.
Thank you.